Right, I haven't filmed it yet because I'm not in the mood, but I'll do a couple updates. So everything's sprayed on the inside, all around the jams are done, obviously in the back's done. I've flicked that around the window just because it's easy. I'm contemplating just spraying everything off, so I've only really got to spray the back guards anyway. Sprayed that, all those pieces. Yeah, I don't know. I may just lay the bonnet back on here, and probably that scuttle panel probably just sit it on there when I spray. I don't know. I haven't quite worked all that out yet, but yeah, we're kind of there, if you know what I mean. Maybe I can just bolt that on, and whatever. Yeah, like I sprayed inside the fuel flap, gas flap, whatever. Sprayed all around there. I sprayed the bottom of there too with a few coats, just because I had a wee bit much mixed. So yeah, it's just a matter of freaking getting the rest of it, really. Basically the back guards and the body shell. Yeah, I probably should have just painted them at this point. I probably should have just done that, but that is what it is, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I should have, but I didn't really sort of think about it, I sort of thought, I'll bolt the doors on and whatever. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see, because I'd like to paint all the heads of the bolts when I bolt them on. We'll see how dry it is when I come back, and then we'll make a decision whether we paint it today or tomorrow. Just make sure it's gone off, because it is cool. I plugged my heater in, but I didn't turn it on, but I just plugged it on for temp. It's about 13 degrees C in here, so it's a little cool, but it seems to be drying all right. So it's not cold, but it's not warm either, if you know what I mean. It's just mild. I've only got shorts on, so. But anyway, we'll bugger off. We'll leave it for an hour or so, and we'll come back. I haven't had enough paint in the gun I just flicked the centres of the doors a couple of times. I wasn't going to paint them, I was just sort of painted, sort of that section. And I just thought, fuck, there's a bit left in the colour, a bit of colour in the gun, so I just flicked it inside the doors. Just gave it a couple of quick passes in there as well. Just to put a wee bit of colour in it, so it's not so bad. I did in the hatch as well, if you know what I mean. Just flicked it, and same in the other ones. Yeah, we'll catch you later on. I got my gun stripped down and washed out, so we'll come back later on and decide whether we're going to paint or whatever, if just get a feel for this, because I just don't want to be turning over and handling it if it's going to be too soft. I'd rather wait till tomorrow. That's it's no biggie. We'll just see how it flows. But, catch you later on. If I do come back after lunch and it's a bit soft, we'll do the body work on this. Right, just got back down here. I've been away for about an hour and a half just to give this half a chance to cure her off. She's still a bit soft, so I'll take the ear over there and we'll open it back up to full pressure. I'll give this a bit more of a whiz round, and I'll get my fiberglass filler and some of the other body filler and whatever, and we'll mud this thing up and we'll sand it out and whatever, and then we'll have a wee bit of a clean up over there, and once we've done some body work, shouldn't take too much. I'll just fucking smear it from end to end, and we'll just level it off, and then we'll blow a couple of coats of primer on it, maybe in an hour or two, by the time we're doing some body work and whatever. And then maybe by that point this stuff will be dry enough, and I might be able to just bolt some bits and pieces back on anyway, or maybe even later on I might shoot back down here later on and maybe get the missus to help me bolt some bits and pieces back on, and whatever, at least then it can be, we can bolt the doors, I'll probably bolt the hatch on and whatever, and I can leave the bonnet off and set the front guards up on some panel stands. If I can get all the doors on and the hatch on, at least it's, you're painting the outside of the vehicle, and we'll just leave the doors and the front guards and that off, and we can paint them all properly and the hood off. Yeah, and then that can be bolted on later, but yeah, it's a bit sticky still. It's not hard enough, so Anyway, we'll do some body work on that. At least then that gets me going, and if I paint the outside of that stuff tomorrow, I can paint this at the same time. Because he wants it green as well, so that guy wouldn't have had it green, but anyway, it is what it is. Righty, so I just tech screwed it to my wooden bench. So I'll put the ends on, and actually no, I won't put the ends on. I'll do this first, and then I'll put the ends on, and then we'll body work them as well. But yeah, I'll just get a grind in here, rough that up so the body filler will stick, and whatever. Might give it a wee light, just buzz with the edge first. But yeah, we'll roll locks there, and then we'll mud it, and probably we'll put a little fiberglass filler on those joins and whatever. Oh, that's the other thing I do want to do too, is actually drill a couple of holes in the other piece and weld those to it too. Yeah, I'll do that first. But yeah, that's where we're at anyway. Alright, sweet. Smooth some glass filler in there, so I'll let that go off for a few minutes, and then we'll knock it down with the Rolox. Just run over it just so it's, sort of flatten it out, and it'll help fill all the little, if there's any little pinholes and whatever in that. EMBs is bound to be. I just weld them up pretty roughly and cleanly. Like, by the time we do a wee bit of body work and whatever, and I might even spray a bit of that other goo in behind once we're finished, and behind the bumper. I'll see what happens. Yeah, probably will, because I might just flick a bit on that floor patch too and everything, like later on when we ready to put everything together. Maybe we'll see. We'll just see how it pans out. But anyway, so yeah, I'll just have to leave that for a few minutes, and then we can knock that down and give it a quick rough up, and then we'll mix up some body filler. Right, I'm just sitting on waiting on. I put some glaze in it. I'll probably have to put more. I probably should have used body filler. I got a bit keen. But I'll just wait for that to go off, and then I'll knock that down, and then I'll probably have to just put a little bit more glaze in it. Hopefully we're close. I don't think I'm going to get primer on it tonight, which is unfortunate, but I possibly could if I come down a wee bit later on and did it. But yeah, anyway, we'll knock it off and put a wee bit more on it, and then hopefully, yeah, we can just dial it in. I might change its position. I might screw it around the other way so the top side's up, so I can get the top side a wee bit better shortly. But I'm just trying to get the front, because that's the sort of the main piece you see, but I wouldn't mind getting the top of it a bit nicer, even though it's only like a bit, you only see about that much of it. But yeah, so yeah, we'll knock it down one more time, and I might swing it around. Yeah, so I swung it around like that, so it's just a bit easier to sand the top part of it. And I can sand the front easy enough like that too. I'm not too worried about the bottom now. I'll do a quick check before I obviously prime it and whatever, and just do a little double check on it. But yeah, I just really want to get the top part and the front part nice, and then I can do a final little check underneath and just fill in the last little bits, and just I can smooth anything out down there. It's not quite so critical. And really, I'm not too worried about the back part of that either, but I just, at least if it's even and level, it's, it is what it is. And at least the front edge will look nice when it's there, and I'll just clean up those edges. Like those ends can come off, but I've kind of done the body work altogether. It is what it is. I'm not screwing around with it. I just want to get it sorted and done. Here's the bumper. I'm just doing the last little bits of body work on it. So I might get a couple of quick coats of primer on it tonight, and we're putting the doors and everything on just before I leave, so I can paint it tomorrow. Morning. So, we are doing that final paint on the old roller here. So I sprayed the bumper last night with primer. Hopefully it's okay. I'll give it a quick rub out. I may have to put a little bit of glazing putty in it. It's not the best, but it's kind of reasonable, if you know what I mean. There's a couple of little spots I'll put here that I can see. I actually might mix up some glazing putty and put it now and let it cure off while I do the final a little bit of prep on that. Obviously I want to wipe things down, and where I've got overspray on from around a few spots, we'll just clean that off and get a bit of that 400 net and a wee block, and I'll just give it a wee clean up. I just had it half covered so I didn't end up with like primer on these bits. So the only thing I've got to set up is front guards on those two stands. I've just got that piece sitting over the road. I might give that another coat too, just to tidy it up a little bit more and go from there. But yeah, basically she's majority sort of painted. I put the doors on last night and the hatch on. We just missed the shot down here for, I don't know, about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours by the time I screwed around and sprayed a dozen coats of frickin'. I just mixed up a little bit of paint, but by the time I went around it probably 5-6 times to try and get all the paint mixed up. I didn't mix up much, but I just mixed up one of these little bottles, which is about 300 mils, about half a cup. It's one of these little ones, which is, it wouldn't have been even 300 mils. What's that, 2 to 1? Yeah, it was, I don't know, about 7.5 fluid ounces, or yeah, it might have been about a cup, yeah, roughly about a cup-ish of liquid. So yeah, by the time I sprayed that on here, I just had to keep pouring it on. I'll flip the camera on. Yeah, so I had to pour it on there a few times. It's not the best. I'm gonna. There's a few holes in it. We're pretty rough. So I just want to get this freaking thing done because it's turning into a bit of a, what's that, shit storm. We've got it sorted, but I'm not happy. But anyway, I'm losing out on a heap of money just because the guy's been a dick, and I just want it out of my hair now. But that's all right. It's life. This will come apart, but it's kind of painted together. It does. There is a seam there, but you only see this much of it anyway. But yeah, I'll fill a couple little marks in it with some glazing putty before I knock it down. Then when I sand it down, it'll be all right. Knock it down with a bit of 240 and 400 before paint. But yeah, it's not the best, but it is what it is. It was pretty rough anyway, but it's better than what was on there. Put his bumper things. His number plate will cover a chunk of this anyway. So yeah, kind of is what it is. He wants to paint it the same fucking colour as the car, which is going to look stupid. I can see that coming, but that's not my problem. But anyway, we'll get stuff sorted here. Might go find all the guard bolts and just throw them in a bit of just poke them into a bit of cardboard. I think I've got a bit of cardboard somewhere with holes in it. So I'll just sort through any other bolts, colour on them that need to be painted. Just so I can get a wee flick. Like, well, not those, but guard bolts, wherever they are. There's a few here. Yeah, I'll just stick them in a board and just flick over them once, if you know what I mean. Just give them a bit of colour before I bolt everything back on. I did think about bolting the guards on, but yeah, I decided not to do that with just to poke bolts in. So we'll just sit that on the end of the table or something like that, and I'll just sit the bolts in there. And as I'm walking past, I can go get a bit of colour on them for all the ones that go back in here. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Right, with a bit of a sand up, back down to 400, and obviously we'll put that little bit of glazing putty in, whatever. It doesn't actually look too bad. You know, the end result will tell the story, but it's not too bad. By the time you get the lights in there and whatever, you know, I think it'll be okay. So that's cool. It's not perfect, but it's better than it fucking was anyway. And better than what it was before I started with it. And like I said, you only see that much of it in front anyway, so the rest of it's pretty much hidden. You only sort of look at it, this bit and this, and through here, like you only really seeing that bit. Like you're gonna have to be lying on the ground to see the bit underneath of it. It's pretty reasonable as well. So yeah, I think by the time it's got a coat of paint on it, it should be right. I've probably got one coat to go, and I'm probably going to do it in the car. I'm struggling. For some reason, it's getting warmer and warmer and warmer, and I'm fighting it to get to lay flat. Pain in the ass, because I did a fairly lightish coat for a start off, and I think it bit me. I just can't get the texture out of it, so pain in the ass. Like some pieces are good, like the guards and the bonnets. The bonnet's okay-ish, if you know what I mean, but the bumper doesn't look too bad, I guess. Kinda. Like this is all right. It kind of lays pretty flat, but man, you think I can get this car to fucking see if I can get it to lay down? I think I try to just do a light coat for start, like just trying to tack it on, and I think it was stupid to do. Because I can't get it to lay flat. I've got this side better. The other side, I'm going to slow down more and trying to get a bit more on that other side. So I've got 3 coats on here now. Well, I'm going to put a 4th one on there so there's something to wet sand out. Not that I want to wet sand it, but the fucking thing's straight. Like, considering what it was, it's pretty damn straight. It just pisses me off. I just can't get it to lay down, if you know what I mean. Well, the front guards aren't too bad. Like, it's not as bad. Like the bonnet's kind of average but shit, but if you know what I mean. Well, I got to wet sand out, but fucking just, you know, just sometimes because yesterday was quite cool. It wasn't too hot. It was about 13, 14, 15 degrees, and it seemed to lay down all right. Not that it's that hot now, but it's getting hotter. And I just can't get it to lay down how I want, if you know what I mean. But no, it is what it is. The biggest problem is I don't spray enough either. You know, you sort of get out of rhythm because you're only doing it fucking every now and again. I think if I was spraying every day, it makes a hell of a difference. But when you spray like fucking, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a year, just, I don't know. I just thought I'd just do a light one on for start off just to get a good tack on, just make sure everything just bites on. But yeah, I think it bit me. I should have just laid it on. Just overthinking shit instead of just painting sometimes, you know. Anyway, I'll leave it for a few more minutes. Let that one tack off, and yeah, there's probably hopefully enough in there just to give the outside of it just a good frickin', maybe lay it on a wee bit wetter or something. See if I can get it to lay down a little bit better. Righty guys, Welcome back to NZ Mopo Outlaw Custom. So here this morning I'm going to mask out the rest of the body, so we're going to have the roof exposed so we can paint this creamy white on it. But with our with my fuck up yesterday, with my thinking, I think the combination of things. One, I don't think I had the paint thin enough for a start, and two, for some weird reason I had base coat clear coat in my head. Why, I do not know. Just the day before I didn't, when I sprayed all the insides of the doors and underneath the hood, bonnet, whatever you want to call it, I didn't have that in my head then, but for some weird reason I was thinking about different things and different scenario, or different paint. It was just, you're just thinking about different things. And obviously once I got going, because I went around it with the with 400 and gave it a wee scuff around the edges, just around bits and pieces where I knew it was going to be spraying. And obviously I sorted out the bumper, got that blocked out, finished blocked out, once I poured a shitload of primer on it and blocked it out, and I put a little bit of glazing putty in a few spots and whatever, and just got that decent-ish. It's not the best, but it's not ugly, and it'll be fine. I wouldn't have painted it the greeny blue, but anyway. So I've had something for years and years and years, and I've always been meaning to use it and never used it. And it's called a viscosity cup. Years ago, I know about 2015, somewhere around about there, when I was working on my VC Valiant, I wanted to paint it poison ivy. I was originally toying with another colour, similar, well, kind of similar to this, but metallic, a bit deeper. I was toying with painting it that colour, and then I seen that poison ivy green, and I was like, yeah, I'm painting that. And I never got around to it, and then I was actually going to paint my Dodge Phoenix in Australia that same colour. And I've got that in my head, I'm going to paint something that fucking colour because I love it. But anyway, apparently it's a bitch to paint, but I'm going to paint it something that colour of mine eventually. But anyway, I bought this viscosity cup because at that time, I'd painted a few bits and pieces, but I still wasn't terribly confident. And to be honest, like at different stages, I'm still not that confident. But I know most of the time, if I get the consistency of the paint right, and obviously it also depends on the temperature of the day. So like today's a bit cooler again, like it was when I sprayed the insides of the panels, but yesterday it was quite warm. Like it's when I first got here in the morning, we're really starting to push into late into spring, early into summer now. And on the heater, is it still on? I've just got it plugged in. It tells you the temperature. It says 14 degrees at the moment, which is, it's not too bad, but it's not that hot, but it's still early in the morning. But yesterday, about this sort of time frame, it was about 19 degrees C, which is starting to get quite nice. But by the time I got everything ready and starting to spray, it was more like 22, 23 degrees C. And it was slowly getting warmer as I was getting more into it, if you know what I mean. By the time I'd sanded out the bumper and then started spraying on whatever, and then mix my paint. And I think I just didn't have enough reducer in it. I almost had nothing in it for a start off. I just had a wee splash. I thought, that looks good. And that's the other thing. Because I don't spray often enough, I think that's what bites me a lot of the time. If I have issues, I think it's more that I'm not doing it every day. So, and different paint products always are different. If you're using a solid colour over a base coat, clear coat, they always are. They work different because the consistency is different, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't know. I just had that in my head and I started spraying, and I put on a light mist coat like you would do with base coat, clear coat. You'd sort of like get just a really light thin one on there for a start off to get that adhesion, and then you would normally pour like 2 or 3 or 4 coats on depending on the colour. I know that poison ivy green, you're going to put about 5 coats on to get enough depth in the colour, because I've seen, there was a car floating around here a few years ago. Well, it's still here, I think. But yeah, there was a Holden HQ, well, no, it wasn't HQ, HJ, HZ, whatever. Holden Kingswood that was painted that poison ivy green, and the first time it was painted was very pale. It was like it only had like about 3, maybe 4 coats on it. But everybody I've seen spray that on a video, they've had to like put 5 or 6 coats on it to get it deep enough to match the original colour, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I just don't think the person who sprayed it put enough colour into it and enough layers to bring that depth up. Base coat clears the coats like that, and that's, I don't know, that was just kind of what I had in my head when I started spraying the outside. I don't know why, and I think that bit me with it just being not thin enough, and I did that sort of like the light mist coat on it. It didn't give it enough to flow out, and when I tried to put the other coats over top, I just couldn't get it to come right. I did thin it slightly more after that. I was like, oh shit, what am I doing? So I thinned the paint out a little bit more, because I could see that it wasn't flowing out. So yeah, and I think just because I didn't put on thin and didn't put enough on to make it flow, yeah, I was chasing my tail. So now I've got to buff it. But to try and get the roof right, so I don't have to fuck around with that as well, I've got this viscosity cut. So we'll have a look at that. Like I said, I've had this for years. So the idea of this is on the back of most paint cans that you got colour in. Here, I'll set it down. We're over here. This is a viscosity. So depending on the cup, I think mine's a Ford, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It's 15 to 16 seconds run through, or if it's the other version, this must be slightly bigger. That might be British Standard, so yeah, I think it will be a Ford one. It's 17 to 18 seconds. So what you do is you'd have a timer down here, or phone, basically, you know, that bring up a stopwatch on. You'd sit that down, get your stopwatch ready, hold your finger over this, pour that into there, and then obviously sit your container down with your finger still on there like this, and then click your stopwatch. So you'd push your stopwatch obviously with the other hand while you're not filming, and then let that go at the same time, and however many seconds it takes to run into there, watching your stopwatch and that at the same time, that tells you whether your paint's thick enough or thin enough, if you know what I mean, or over thin. And then you might, if it's over thin, well then you might have to add a little, you know, make up another batch and make it slightly thicker and play with it a little bit to get it the right consistency, if you know what I mean. And I think that's what bit me yesterday, was partly that, and partly me being a dumbass and thinking base coat, clear coat for a start off. I don't know why I did that. It was just it's just one of those days, you know, brain fart, thinking the wrong thing at the time, you know, because I was thinking, you know, I think part of it was I was thinking, oh shit, you know, that would be nice to paint like a nice, like almost metallic-y, not metallic-y, you know, almost like a chrome sort of silver. That's kind of, I think, why I was thinking, oh, you know, God, fuck, I got to paint this stupid thing. It'd be nice to paint it like a nice metallic-y silver or something like that and spray, you know, clear coat over it. And I think that's probably what was doing it. Like I was thinking about that, not, you know, not, I wouldn't say not concentrating on the paint, but just all of a sudden had base coat, clear coat in my head and like mixed up the thing and put the, you know, put a wee dash of reducer in it, and just probably wasn't thin enough. And then when I started spraying it, I sprayed it like base coat, clear coat, not solid colour, and yeah, fucked myself up basically. So what I'll do is I'll it's a shame I haven't got another fucking phone here, eh? What can I do? No, I don't even have a watch, which is a pain. Anyway, what I might do is have a wee play with this, just with some thinners, and just get an idea how fast that runs through, and then I'll bring you back, because I've never used it. I've always had it, so I thought I'd just make up this little board. It's probably a little bit high, but basically you'd have your pot of paint mixed up, tip it in there, hold your finger underneath, sit it back underneath, or have another little, you know, I'll probably use one of these underneath, like obviously mix up a batch of paint, have like a small one underneath, and then just hold the finger in, pour it in, and then hit the button and let it go at the same time. And if it's close to that, you know, within a couple of seconds, obviously you get a couple of second window. If it's, you know, running out, and it's obviously, if it's faster, it's, you know, it's obviously a little bit on the thin side, and if it's close to the top, it's, you know, it's right on its obviously maximum thickness, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna try and work out today. I've never used it, and I'm going to use it today because it is a little bit cooler, and I think it'll just, if I use it a few times, maybe then I'll get a better feel for where paint needs to be, and I'll have less screw-ups. Because I actually had the same issue with this, and I had to wet sand it. I could just, you know, some parts of it I got really good, and the other parts I didn't. And I think that was probably, I think part of it was the spray gun that I was using, because it, again, the other one that I smashed, it was, I think, bleeding ear here, or sucking ear here too, which didn't help me at the time, and that's why I bought that one, because that one's works really good. When you get it right, it fucking just blows it on like glass. But yeah, I think that was a similar sort of issue, you know. It was just a combination of stupid things. But yeah, if we can get a wee bit more consistent, and you know, do this for a while until I get a real feel for obviously paint. And if you're not spraying very often, it's probably not a silly thing to have. You know, if you're only doing 2 or 3 paint jobs a year, and you're not doing it, you know, 4 or 5 paint jobs a week, yeah, you just don't, you get an idea, but you don't get a real good feel for it. You know, the guys that are spraying every day, you know, will know it down pat. You know, they'll be able to tell instantly because they've done it so many times. But for guys like me, or you know, other people that don't do it very often, you know, it's easy to, obviously depending on the day, you know, if you haven't got a booth or anything like that, if you're not spraying every day, it's easy to get yourself fucked up, you know. Case in point. So if you got one of these viscosity cups, and I think making this little thing here so you don't have to frickin' stand there and try and hold it as well. So I can just hold my finger in there, pour it in, get myself sorted, hit the stopwatch on the phone. I'll have to look, I think there's a stopwatch on here I know somewhere. I'll just have to find it. And yeah, what I might do is actually buy myself a little stopwatch somewhere that I can just throw in the cabinet, and when I want to spray, I can just have it there. Just buy a little digital cheap one or something. And yeah, just have it so I can do it. And yeah, at least then I can check my paint. And once I get a bit of a feel for it, doing that paint job, I'll be fine. But you know what I mean? Yeah, you probably do. If you pour 3 or 4 cupfuls, or make up 3 or 4 cupfuls, you know, you're normally pretty good by the time you get to the last one. You get it right. But yeah, if it's not right for a start off, it can make life a pain. So yeah, you know, live and learn from your mistakes. So I had the piece of equipment here, I just never fucking used it, so we'll try it. And I'm pretty sure it's a Ford one. Yeah, there must be a Ford, and the other one must be, I don't know, it's something else. I think this is a Ford one. I'm not 100% sure on there. We'll find out though. Like it's a couple of seconds either way, so yeah, we'll work it out, but I'll soon find out. If it's within spec and it sprays really nice, I know that we're one or the other, if you know what I mean. I think it's a Ford one, and I'm not 100% sure on that one. And what gave me that idea was when I was watching the Gunman videos, and he did a explanation on one of these, and years ago, I think it was a couple of year old video at that time, like it was like from 2013 or 14 or something like that. When I was watching that, it was a couple of year old video at the time, and I thought, well, fuck yeah, it's good information. I'll get one of those and I'll use it, but I never have, and I wish I did. So yeah, especially if you're not, yeah, like I say, like if you're doing 1 or 2 paint jobs every now and again, it mightn't be a silly thing, you know. It might just be the difference between a lot of fucking work afterwards, or spraying it off the gun and basically not having to touch it, you know. Maybe in a few years' time, give it a bit of a buff up, and it'll be mint. You know, but it is what it is. You know, you fuck up and you fix it. So anyway, we'll carry on. I'll have a wee play with this, see if I can work out the stopwatch, and then I'll mask myself up, get this roof masked up, and get some paint mixed up, and we'll spray the fucking thing and get out of here. And then I'll proceed to put it together on Monday, and then give it a wee wet sand and above. Yeah, right. So just had a little play with some thinners that I've just had for, soaking nozzles and whatever. So yeah, it took about 9.5, 10 seconds. So yeah, it's interesting. So I've found in the normal clock part of my phone that there's a stopwatch function in there. So yeah, easy enough to do. Just hold it, fill it up, push the button, and let go at the same time, and yeah, that works good. So now I can see if I can get a consistent wet pot for underneath there. Yeah, that one will too, so that's cool. I've got it nice and high so I can get whatever paint cup I want. The only one that I don't think will fit underneath there is that one. But that's all right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. I could, if I was trying to pour it back in, but I can just have a small cup in there and then just tip it back in and give it a final mix, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's cool. Right, anyway, we will mask our roof out. So I'll grab one of these plastic covers here, wherever I put them. I don't know, it might be... what did I do with them? What did I do with them? Oh, we'll have to find them. Because they're in here somewhere. Under here somewhere. I hope. I bought like 6. Or 6 or 8 or something. They're here fucking somewhere. Where'd you go? Yeah, that's him. They were there. Just hiding. Actually thought it was a free one on top, but maybe there wasn't. That's all right. So we'll throw one of these over the car. Might have to use 2. And we'll mask out the roof. That's the worst bit's going to be doing is fucking around the back here. Because I was hoping to have this is down in my hand. So I hold open and get in here. I thought you should take target off. I'll just give it here and mask it up. So that took a fucking handicap on it. So, I don't know if it was quite that long, but close to it. So we're all masked out, just having a good look. So got a reasonable, we've got a nice edge around here now. I wasn't too worried about when I was putting the green in, or whatever fucking want to colour we want to call this thing. But now we've got a reasonable, nice little line around here, so it won't look bad. Yeah. Just make sure that looks consistent around there. Pretty happy with that. You put that bit of tape back there. Need to fix that. I'll fix that in a second. So yeah, look at that. Just a very fine edge here. That's all you want. That's enough. That's all you need. You know. When you get a nice wee clean edge there, you get a little slight build up on the other colour, but when you give it a wee wet sand, it'll just disappear. And obviously I've just covered everything else. Tailgates underneath here and other bits and pieces. So just cover that so when I'm spraying the white, we don't end up with frickin' speckles all over everything. I think everything else should be good. I'll let the tyres down, lay my pallets, and we'll give the roof a quick wipe. It should be pretty clean because it was covered anyway. But yeah, we'll give it a quick wax and grease and tack rag. I did wax and grease it before I put the plastic over top, just to so it was sort of half prepared. So yeah, and then we'll let the tyres down again, so I've got plenty of reach and I'm not trying to lean too much. So yeah, we'll do that, and then we will mix up some paint. So that is 2 to 1, and then we'll run it through cup. I shouldn't need too much, I don't think. I'm thinking the cup would be enough. What do I want on there? I don't know, at least 3 coats. Just trying to think what I need. I'm trying to contemplate whether I fill one of these up. Or whether I go the next size up and just go do I want just a cup, or do I want a little bit more than that? Don't know. So if I go 5 on the 2 to 1, was it giving me about 450 mils? I think that might be too much. 300 mils? I don't see me using a full cup of paint, but I might, if you know what I mean. So 2 to 1 on this, and the smaller cup is about 225 mils. So yeah, I might go that one, just go a little bit extra. If I've got a bit much, well, I can fucking pour it out. We'll just go the 4 part to the 4 mark with a tiny little bit of reducer. What I'll do is I'll put the without any reducer in, and then we'll run it through the cup, and so that'll be 300 mils, and then we can just add 5 or 10% after that, just to see if we can get a decent consistency. I wish I had a frickin' stopwatch here so I could show you, because it's a bit hard to film and frickin' use a stopwatch at the same time. Yeah, I used to have another phone, but it's completely fucked. Yeah, my missus has got, no, Mrs. Son has got her old phone, so I can't pinch that. But maybe I might have an old shitty phone at home somewhere, like one that's just like a real cheap. I think there's an old cheap frickin' cell phone floating around home that might have a stopwatch function on it. I'll have to have a look, or I'll just buy one that I can have here to do a timer on to show you guys how it works. especially for the guys that might be painting fucking like 1 or 2 cars ever in their lifetime, if you know what I mean, or might be doing like one paint job every 3 or 4 years. This might be just your saviour, you know, and I'll use it. I think I'll use it a bit more often, and just to obviously to help my situation too, because I'm, like I said, like I'm not doing this every fucking day. So now if you're doing it, you know, 2 or 3 paint jobs a month, or you know, even a paint job a week or something like that, you know, you'd have a bit more of a feel for it. But you know, with weather conditions changing and temperatures and all that sort of shit, and then jump, you know, from like say base coat, clear coat to like back to a solid colour and whatever. Yeah, it's easy to get yourself screwed up. So yeah, we'll play with it a little bit and just see what it's like, you know. Right, so just for a point of reference, so with just this and the hardener mixed, about 50 seconds, so way too slow. So we'll put 5% in and I'll see what the difference is. Right, so with 5% in there, it was, instead of about 58, it was about 36. So we'll go 10% and we'll see what difference that makes. So this is quite interesting. So yeah, I've got a little bit of thinners in here, so I'll just add it. I'll pull this back in here. I can see through here. So I added 5% before, so we're at 10% now, and we'll test it again. So we need somewhere between supposedly about 15 to 18 seconds, because one's 15 to 16, one's 17 to 18. So if we're somewhere in that ballpark, we won't be too far away, because I'm not sure whether I've got the Ford Cup or the other one is the BSB Cup, whatever the difference is. It's probably possibly the size of the hole in the thing. I'm not sure. I can't remember which one I bought, but I know I can remember buying one at the time. But yeah, so if we can get somewhere in between that sort of 15 to 18 seconds, if we're somewhere in that ballpark, we shouldn't be far away, if you know what I mean. So anyway, we'll go again, and I'll bring you back again just to let you know where we got. Interesting. So it was about 28 seconds. So we're still not enough. We might just go to 15%. So it just shows, you know, different days, different temperatures, whatever makes a big difference. So yeah, we're still not thin enough. So that is definitely the reason why I couldn't get the paint to lay down, because I think I reduced it the other day. It was hotter, but I think I probably only had it like about 10 or just under. I think I added. Yeah, and obviously just it wasn't thin enough. So I am going to use this thing more often for each paint job. Now, especially with the first batch, and then once you sort of got an idea what it needs to be, if you have to mix more, obviously to do a big job, you know, say you mix up a cup and then you a big cup or whatever, and you use all that, well, at least you know the ratio next time. You know, you go, okay, yeah, sweet, it sprayed good with 15 or it sprayed good with 10. So yeah, it's a bloody good thing. I'll make a full-on separate video about this. You know, especially for us guys that just aren't doing it often. You know, I'll get into it because I need to get spraying. But yeah, it just shows. If you can get one of these, they're cheap as shit. You probably just get them one at the average paint store, if you know what I mean. So yeah, if you're not doing many paint jobs, but you dabble a little bit, you know, if you're not sure, get one of these. You know, make up a bit of a board and have a hanger so you can put a couple of different size caps underneath it, and at least then you can let it run in. Go, yeah, sweet, they were in the ballpark of whatever it says on the back of the can. You know, when you pick out your paint, go, oh, what's the viscosity rate? You know, I'm not sure. I don't do a lot of painting. I do a wee bit. I just want to know what the viscosity rating should be for this, you know, to get the best result. No, if it's not on the can, they might be go, oh yeah, no, we can. I know what that is. It's frickin' 22 to 23 seconds or whatever. You know, it obviously depends on your paint. You know, your clear coat might be a little bit more. You know what I mean? Whatever, you know, it needs to be at this. Oh yeah, sweet, cool. You know, and you can set your cup up, and on their day, if it's, you know, you can set it up and away you go, and yeah, sweet, like I know what I need to do now. I need 15% and away we go. Anyway, I'll just put 15% in. We'll see what it is. I reckon that'll be close. And we'll get spraying. Right. Oh, I broke my frickin'. I went to give it a wipe out just to make sure I wasn't overfilling it. Because basically, I think you meant to fill right at the top, but I was just thinking, geez, is it actually like is there meant to be a mark in there? But I couldn't see anything. I thought maybe I was frickin' filling it up too high or something like that. But I had to get it to 20%, basically, to get it thin enough. So yeah, I definitely wasn't anywhere near that yesterday. So yeah, we'll see what this does. But yeah, I was fucking miles away from that yesterday. I think I was 10 or maybe a touch over that if I was lucky, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so it just shows you, you know. But yeah, I think I can get that piece out if I can, and then I'll just re-glue it in there or something. I'll make a new little thing up for it or something. That pisses me off that I broke it, but I was trying to wipe it out to, I was like using a rag to a wee bit of thinners on it to just give it a wee wipe out just to see. Yeah, just to make sure it didn't have a mark in it, because I was sitting there like, man, like 15% still not even close. So I'm going to have to go to 20%. And even 20% still probably, it's still a little high. It was like about 20 seconds, but I'll run with 20% and just see how it goes, if you know what I mean. But can't be fucking any worse than yesterday. But yeah, I just thought maybe there's a frickin' like a little marker or line in there or something that I meant to have it at, and I had it too full, but because my understanding was, I actually should go watch some old videos again. My understanding was you basically just get it up to where it's basically at the top, you know what I mean? You just fill it and then let it run out. But yeah, so yeah, I'm at 20% to get close. So yeah, like I don't really want to go to 25, but yeah, but it is what it is. Cause it's quite good with some paints. They'll you know, base coat, clear coat, and stuff like that. Like it normally says, you know, it's 1 part this, 2 part that, and whatever, you know, for reducer as well. Sometimes it'll give you a ratio, but yeah, this doesn't. Yeah, but maybe because it's a little cooler today too. Like it's not that cold, but you know what I mean. Anyway, we'll get spraying, and I've had this mixed up for a wee while. Well, not that long, you know, probably 10 minutes, I suppose. But yeah, we'll put some in the gun and put a mask on and start spraying. It's alright, I'm not 100% happy. Maybe it needs to be slightly thinner. If I hadn't broken the cup, I probably would have checked it. It's pretty good. Like it'll settle too. Like it, like the other one, the front guards and that laid out pretty reasonable. Like after I was trying to chase it, so I know the paint consistency is better. So hopefully it'll just lay out a little bit flatter. But yeah, it's not perfect either. Like maybe it did need to be a little lighter, if you know what I mean. That's a bit short. But yeah, just noticed that freaking blew in. I might have to just take that down. I don't think there's much paint on there, but you know what I mean. It's not too bad. We're buffing the rest. We might better just buff that, and it'll come up. Not 100%. You know what I mean? It's all right. Anyway, well, that tack off a bit longer and we'll throw another one on it. Right, we've got the third and final coat on, so I'll just clean the gun. We'll shoot down in here in about an hour or so, or a couple of hours, and we'll pull the... But if I had that result, like it's still not quite where I'd like to be, but it's damn so fucking better than it was yesterday. If we could have that kind of result with the green or blue or whatever you want to call it, a lot better. It's not too bad. It's a little bit orange peely in a couple of spots. Yeah, obviously I need to just do a wee bit more research into that viscosity cup and just work on a couple of things. You know, none of us are perfect. We're all still learning. Like I've done a bit of painting over the years, but like sometimes when you haven't been doing it for a while, and then yeah, like I thought yesterday, oh, you know, freaking, you know, it was about 10% reducer in there. I thought, oh yeah, that'd be plenty. With it being it was warm yesterday, and I thought, oh yeah, that'd be fine, you know. Paint would be a bit runnier and whatever, but it obviously wasn't, you know. It just, and then I did the stupid thing of spraying it like base coat for the first coat, and it just fucked me up. But that's a damn sight better. It's not perfect, but I think if that cure for a couple of days, like the rest of it, you know, we can probably wet sand the rest of it, but not come up into here, and then just let it cure for a couple of days, and then we might better just give it a very light buff. And I think the worst that'll come out, or maybe even just to give it a quick wee rub with but probably won't even need to start with 1500, probably even just 2000 and a 3000. Just give it a quick wet one while, you know, we're doing that, and we'll just give it a very light buff, and it'll be fine. Like if it was more like if the outsides were like the centers part of it, it would actually be pretty good. I would leave it alone, but it's not perfect. Hey, you know, I know I'm definitely not a perfect painter by any stretch of the imagination, but I can lay down most of the time I can lay down a decent paint job, and, you know, with a quick buff or a wet sand or whatever, you know, it's pretty good. But I've seen some fucking terrible ones. Like at least my body works decent, you know, all that sort of bullshit. So if someone's getting a decent result at the end of the day. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I just haven't done enough paint jobs in recent years up until, you know, what have I painted? That, the 24 Dodge, a bonnet, and a door in the last 3 years, if you know what I mean. And a few small bits and pieces. But yeah, this is like the third full car that I've sprayed in since 2020. Oh, I did when I was working at a dad's workshop there before I ended up in here doing the studio. I did paint 2 tractors as well and a bike tank. So yeah, like I've done a little bit in the last 2 or 3 years, but like it's not as though you're doing it every day. So it does make a hell of a difference. But it's definitely a damn sight better. Definitely a damn sight better. I'm a lot happy with that. But yeah, I will work on finding out a bit more info on that viscosity cup, and I'll fix the freaking handle. That pissed me off. Actually, I'll throw that in. Just pop it in there, just so give it a wee dunk. Get the paint and shit out of it. That's mainly thinners in there. Just give it a wee wash out. Oops, trying to be too fucking messy, but that'll do. Yeah, I'll fix the handle because it does look like it comes out of that slot. So if I can get it out of there, I'll just glue it back in. It'll just be a little bit shorter. Won't matter a shit. And that was all the paint that I had left over. I mixed a touch more because when I sprayed the first coat, I had about half left in the gun. So I just mixed up another small one of these to, just so you know, I did to the number 4 on the 2-to-1. And then added, obviously, 20% thinners, and then I mixed the 2 lots together and have a good stir. And yeah, that was the result. Yeah, maybe I need to play with the settings in the gun a little bit more too. You know, like it's a beautiful gun and they do fucking amazing, but you know, again, I'm not spraying enough, so that doesn't help me. You know what I mean? It's consistency. If you're doing it all the time, it wouldn't be too bad, but Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to give my hands a quick clean. I should be wearing gloves, but I'm not. I'm just bad at that. I'm so used to frickin' not using gloves over the years for all this dirty shit. But yeah, we'll revisit that. I'll do a video on it the next time I'm doing some painting. Yeah, who knows? Like, I might wet sand this back and mask the roof out and spray the green again, just to get a better result. You know, now that I know, you know, maybe I can mix up enough to do a coat and blow a nice wet one on there, and you know, have it reduced down to 20% or thereabouts, and end up with a way better result. But if it wet sands and buffs out alright, because I put 4 coats and now I put 3 on the roof. Like, guys, it's way better on the roof, so I can just give it a very light wet sand. But I put an extra one on there because I knew the situation. I was like, well, I'll give myself an extra coat. That gives me a little bit more thickness to give a half decent wet sand and frickin' pull it up, if you know what I mean. Anyway, we'll come down here in a couple of hours, and couple of 3 hours, and we'll demask the whole car. Morning, welcome back. So, frickin' birds. Anyway, let's see this morning, or today, if we can recover this paintwork. Should be able to. But actually, when I come in here yesterday to demask it, I noticed one thing on the roof. Well, probably 3 things on the roof. One, I got to run here, but apart from that, look at their little orange peel. But down in here in spots, actually this side is not so bad, but it's thin in here. This side's actually not too bad, but this side, it's thin. You can see through the fucking paint. I haven't got enough colour down in here, which is a real pain in the ass, which means I'm going to have to repaint, or at least spray in the side of the roof, which sucks because it's not that bad actually, if you know what I mean, apart from this. But what I'll do is I'll air the tyres up, and I don't know if I'll start on here. I might start on the bonnet. Go find all my sandpaper. It's borderline a run, isn't it? Yeah. But yeah, I obviously needed just to blow a coat in here before I started, and I didn't. It's freaking dumb of me. This side's not too bad, but it is thin. You can see it's thin, which is a pain, because it actually worked out quite good. But it is what it is, you know what I mean? We can fix it. It's just a pain. I don't want to have to be fucking spending all this time on this freaking thing now that we're in this stupid issue that he's put me in, but it's alright. We'll get over it. So, what I'll do, I'll go dig through my sandpaper. I know I got some 800 over there. I've got 1500 and 2000 and stuff here, but it's getting, I've used it, well, I did have like a few new sheets, but I've used most of it over time, if you know what I mean. I don't think I've got anything decent left. But I've got a couple of new sheets of 800 here somewhere. Had them here the other day. I might have moved them. Doesn't matter, I'll find them. So yeah, I got some 800. I've got 400 wet and dry if I need it. I think I should have 600 wet and dry. Here we go. So here's 800. And I should have some bits of 1500 and 2000, and I've still got brand new 3000 pads somewhere as well, that you put on your DA, or you can just do it by hand, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I've got plenty of, like, I've got 400, like I've actually got a whole ream of that. I ended up with it early on, when the people that I got this stuff off sent me sheets for a start off, where I already had 3M, like sheets of what I wanted, just dry stuff. But they sent me, they rang them up and they said I wanted sticky back paper, which is garbage. It's alright, but it's garbage. Eventually I'll find some decent 3M stuff to stick on those blocks, because like the net's good too, but it would be nice not have to fucking hold it on, because it just wears the crap out of your fingers. I'll work around that eventually. But yeah, I do have, yeah. So like I've got 2 fucking reams of 400 here. I would like to actually sell this shit, just fucking give it to somebody, basically. It's alright, but yeah, it's not good. You end up using heaps of it. It would be right for somebody that's just puddling around, if you know what I mean. I'll give them a buffer clean up. It's freaking so dusty in here now. I should have somewhere, actually in here, I think, in this box. Yeah, I've got a little block, sealing block. Yeah, that's, not sure. Yeah, that'll be 1500. And I got some new ones of these somewhere. It's at 2000. I used to have like quite a few sheets of it, but I've just about run out, if you know what I mean. Because you don't use it a lot. But I need to get some sheets, more sheets. There's another piece, 1500. It's pretty knackered. There's actually basically a new piece of 2000. Yeah. And I should have some 600 here somewhere too. A few bits of 600. Like you don't use a lot. There's a bit 600. I think I might have some new full sheets of 600 here somewhere as well. But by the time you get to this point, you don't use it a lot. Here's another piece of 800. So what I'll do is organise. Get one of my buckets, get it cleaned out, put a bit of dish soap in it, get some water from out of the tanks, and we'll probably start with that bonnet or the hood, and we'll get that wet sanded out, and then I'll give them a buffer, a clean, and whatever. Yes, like I don't really like using 400 at this point, but if it was a bit rough, like it is, if it doesn't pull back quickly-ish with 6, I'll jump to 4 just for a couple of minutes, just to really knock that top off. And then jump to 6 and then 800. If it wasn't too bad, if it's like with the roof is odd in a couple of spots, I'd just start with 800. And then jump to 1500 and 2000 and then 3000 pad, and then give it a quick buff. If you know what I mean. So I got the cutter here. There's not a lot left in it, but hopefully it's enough. Yeah, and I've got some wax cleaner here somewhere as well, wherever that is. But yeah, I have these in a little block. Like you could do it with, I could actually do it with the acrylic block too, but yeah, we're obviously going to have to fix that run. And then either blow in the edges, or it's probably easy just to actually give this a good scuff with 400 wet and dry, and remask it, remask the car, and just and blow a couple of light coats through the edge, and then give it a once over, if you know what I mean. But just make sure you get some good colour in the edge, which is a pain. I don't want to have to do this, but I'm going to have to. I can't leave this, it's too thin. And that's actually something else I need to do. I'm so zoomed in. Yeah, that's better. I don't know what was going on there. I can't even think what I was going to say now. My phone was giving me issues. No, I lost it. I was going to say something there. I've lost myself because the freaking camera was zoomed in and I couldn't work out why it wasn't coming back. Um, oh, oh yeah, that's what I need to say. When I got the doors down, because I obviously don't want wind or birds or shit flying in here or whatever, it's too fucking dark in here. I need to get myself maybe some lights that I can put up on pedestals. You know, maybe, I don't know, 4, 5, 6, 7 lights that I can maybe put around the car. That's why I'd like to build that into a makeshift booth, like use like a heap of those white boards, staple them to the wall, probably to the roof, and maybe even just have clear, like big drop cloths, but like sealed up, if you know what I mean, like just like a makeshift booth, but then put a, you know, I don't know, a few lights down the side, and then obviously maybe mount them on the poles on this side to get a bit extra light, if you know what I mean, and maybe a couple on some stands. So I got plenty of light, because I reckon if I had the door open when I was spraying this, I probably would have seen, but because the door's down and you only got those 4 lights up there, plus obviously the ones over there, yeah, it was just too dark, and I didn't really see what was going on here. So yeah, I could have blown another coat in there, you know, while I was doing it, if I seen what was going on there. But it actually laid down pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with that result. If I can get it close to that every time, I'll be pretty happy. You know, you'd just about get away with a wee light buff, but there's actually a couple of little marks in there, which I think if I wet sand it back with 400, and then we just respray a couple of coats over top, I've got fucking plenty of paint. I could probably, to be honest, I could probably wet sand this and respray the whole car, you know. Not that I want to. I'll try and buff this. It's easy just to wet sand and buff it, but I'll have to respray the roof because they're thin. But yeah, anyway, I'll start waffling, and I'll get myself sorted out, because this is going to take a few hours to wet sand and buff, and yeah, and then we'll have to wet sand the roof and mask it out and respray it. Like, that'll probably be tomorrow, but if I can get everything wet sanded out, yeah, probably I'll buff this after I've done that, painted that again. But yeah, pain, but it is what it is. You know, what can you do about it? You got to fix it. So I'll get yourself sorted, and we'll come back. Right, so I've polished the front part of this bonnet, or wet sanded and polished it, just to show the contrast. The paint's still probably a little soft. It hasn't come up totally clean, like it's leaving scratches from wet sanding. It's probably needs another week, really, or 2 to fully just cure properly. It's what's today? Monday. So I sprayed it Saturday. Yeah, Saturday. So it's still pretty green, but that's definitely better. It's a pain in the ass. It's just, yeah, it's a shame. I don't have the time for it to hang around here. I've got to get it cleaned up. So, but considering that's damn sight better, and like, you know, in another month or 2, you know, you can just probably run over again with a buff, with, you know, with a decent cutter, and then whatever, and it'll bring it up really good. It's just it's a touch soft, but it'll be fine. Like, at least it'll clean it up, and it won't look like this. At least it'll look, you know, decent, shiny, and then, like, you know, even in a week or so, you know, if you just run it over again with a buff, and like with a decent cutter, and then like a polish, yeah, you'd cut most of that off, but at least then, like, it'll be pretty flat by then. Like, there's no what do you want to call it? There's no orange peel left in it, but yeah, it's just lots of little fine scratches, and it's just not much I can do about it. They won't come out, but I do actually need to get some. I got plenty of like 400 and 600 and 800, but 1500 and 2000 is pretty fucked. So that's not helping either. And I've only got a couple of those 3000 pads here for to go on the DA. Yeah, I've only got a couple here. For some, the box must be still at home. So I need to get some more decent wet and dry, like some fine, like some real super fine stuff. That will probably help the situation. But I'll go through it, and worst comes to worst, what I might do is just leave it. I won't buff it. I'll bring it up to 3,000. But then when I get some fresh paper later on today, hopefully, then I might just go back over it, back to 1,500 and to 2,000, then 3,000 again, and then give it a buff. But like cut all the shit off it first anyway. So like at least if it gets to close to that sort of level, it'll be presentable. And I can just say, look, I had to give it a quick wet sand and buff, but just to get some orange peel out of it. But it's a bit soft still, so in another month or so, if you want, I'll bring it back and I can, spend half a day on a Saturday or Sunday or something like that and fucking give it a decent cut and buff once it's actually cured up a bit, you know what I mean? Or even in a couple of months. But that's pretty good. Like, I'm pretty happy with that. It's not dead perfect. Like if I'd had I put the 4 or 5 coats on, and if I'd done that again, if I'd probably done that maybe twice, it would be like it's got some very faint ripples in it. It's pretty flat though. Like, it's pretty straight. But yeah, like it would be that next level, if you know what I mean. It takes those extra couple of blocks just to really get it. You go from flat to super flat, if you know what I mean. And then if you did it again, then you start getting to elite levels. But it's just so much fucking work. You go from, I don't know, what do I spend on that? Like at least a week worth of sanding for a start off. So you go from like a week to probably 3 or 4 weeks. By the time you put 4, 5, 6 coats on a primer, block it back. Another 4 or 5 coats of primer, block it back. Another 4 or 5 coats of primer, and then block it back. And that's when you start going to, seamer sort of type paint jobs and all those sorts of bullshit. You see that car, it's just like, whoa. But the guy goes, yeah, but it cost me $200,000 or more. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy. Yeah, it's just a bit green, unfortunately. It's a bit green. Like, yeah, if I could have got this result off the gun, I just would have left it alone, and then just said at some point, if you want to give it a cut and buff, it'll come out really nice. But yeah, this will do the same result. It just sucks to have to do all that fucking work to get it there, to re-sand it. But yeah, at the end of the day, that does clean up a shitload. Anyway, I'll do the rest of the top anyway, and I'll bring you back again. At some point, actually I might film the next bit, we'll see. And just fucking, tell you how long it took me on the clip for when I start to when we give it I'll polish it again just to give you a time frame of what it takes to do an area like that if you end up with a paint job like that. I don't think I'll ever end up, with the paint job like that. I'm going to use that, because I don't paint very often. I need to fix that cup. I'll fix it or buy another one. But yeah, if I can get that out and glue that back in or do something with it, I will use that every time, I think. And that'll just save me the hassles like that. It makes a difference from that to, with a little bit of dialing in with a gun. If I can get that better, that and whatever, should be right. But by the time I finish this thing, he's gonna be fucking blown away. Like, he's not gonna expect what he's gonna get. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. Anyway, I'm gonna go have a toilet stop and we'll get back into it. Yeah, I'm fucking struggling. I think the paint's just too fresh. It's sanding, but it's scratchy. It's leaving scratches in it at the same time. Like I'm not getting enough. The fine stuff's not doing enough. I probably need some new fine stuff too. If you know what I mean. Like you can see it all. Like it's, well, I'd say flattening it out. It's not too bad. There's a couple of spots where I'm not, a bit weird. Well, it must be one of the spots I repaired. This was the bad side, wasn't it? Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. I kind of almost feel like, not that I fucking want to, but I've got plenty of fucking green paint left. There's blocks hanging out with 400 and then blowing another coat over top. Or even 600. Biggest problem is I've fucking like polished it now. But like it needs the whole car, almost needs done. You know, because if I could get everything to lay down like this, I'd just give it back. You know, and just go, oh, fucking, if you want to buff it and polish it at some stage, you know, it will come up pretty good. But it's like that's a pretty good shine. It's not perfect, but you know, it's not bad. You know, I'll see if I can fix that run and respray this as well. But I just wonder if it's worth spraying the fucking outside of it, to be honest. Which pisses me off. I don't really want to, but I might fucking have to. I might have to. Just like it really just needs a wet sand in one go. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't worry about doing the inside or anything else. I'd just knock all the outside panels down and stay closed. It's not, doesn't want to, does it? Yeah, and just respray it. I don't know. It pisses me off because I'm not making any money. That's my biggest dilemma. Like I just won't get rid of the fucking thing, but I can't put it out like this. At least it's fairly straight, I guess, but yeah, it's not what I want, if you know what I mean. I wanted to try and get it back, you know, really pretty decent, if you know what I mean. Oh, it's frustrating. I'll have a think about it for a few minutes because I just spent frickin' almost 2 hours on that. You know what I mean? Whereas if I knock it down with probably 400 and then give it a quick rub over 600, like pretty aggressively, like it'll, and then mask it out and respray it. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to think how I can do it the best way. Because I don't want to be spending another fucking week's wet sanding and buff the fucking thing either. I don't know.